I bumped into her closest friend at the market. Strange. My wife told me she's traveling with you. She replied, Hook, you know those moments that hit you like a punch to the gut? The ones that shatter your entire worldview in an instant? Mine came in a grocery store aisle when her best friend looked at me, completely baffled, and asked, Wait, aren't you supposed to be in Rome? My blood ran cold because my wife had just left for Rome with her. Story. Alright, so buckle up because this isn't just a story about a breakup. It's about watching a life you built crumble and then finding the steel inside yourself to build something even stronger. My name's Jake. I'm an elevator tech, been doing it for about 16 years. It's a solid, honest living. Nobody thinks about us until they're stuck between floors, right? But it means I've got a good head on my shoulders, know how to fix things, and I'm definitely not one for corporate BS. I bought my first house at 27, a modest place in Aurora, but it was mine. I wasn't into flashy cars. I was into equity, into peace of mind. I met Hannah at a cookout back in 2019. She was all sunshine in a yellow sundress, with a laugh that just cut through everything. She was an admin assistant, seemed grounded. Seemed being the key word, as I'd later learn. Our first date was epic. 3 hours at this taco place, talking about everything from childhood pets to Fast and Furious movies. She actually listened when I talked about my job, asked real questions. And get this, she didn't check her phone once. That meant a lot to me. By the 5th date, I knew she was it. No games, remembered details, called me when her car broke down. That mattered. 2 years later, I proposed. Saved up for 6 months, got her dad's blessing over a poker game. He actually liked me, which was apparently a miracle. We got married that spring, a small backyard wedding. I even built the archway we stood under. Her mom still has it. Everyone thought we were the perfect couple, and for a while, I honestly believed we were. The first 3 years of marriage? Solid. We split bills, cooked for each other, talked like adults. I handled the mortgage and utilities. She covered groceries and her car. We had a joint savings account. The system worked. But then, around year 4, things shifted. It was subtle at first, like a car that's slightly out of alignment. Easy to ignore, but eventually you're always correcting. Hannah started getting super protective of her phone. Always face down. Always on silent. She'd take it to the bathroom. When it buzzed, her eyes would dart to it. Then she'd force herself to look away. I noticed. I just didn't say anything. Yet. Then the conversations got shorter. I'd come home after a 10-hour day, covered in grease, tired, and she'd barely look up from her screen. One night it really hit me. I walked in, dropped my keys, and found her on the couch, phone pressed into a throw pillow, her thumb guarding the lock button like it was Fort Knox. Hey, I said. She just flicked her eyes at me, waved her hand like I was interrupting something vital. No smile. No, how was your day? Just dismissal. I stood there, letting the silence hang. Something smells like nothing. Are we eating, or am I raiding the fridge? Check the fridge, she mumbled, still not looking up. Check the fridge, I echoed. Cool. We're roommates now. Her jaw tightened. Don't do that. Do what? I asked, taking my boots off, slow and deliberate. Make it a thing. I found leftover lasagna with a sticky note. Made dinner. No love you. Just instructions. I tried to connect. What about Saturday? We said we'd check out that open house near Parker, remember? She snapped. I'm tired. Tired of what? Me? Her head finally turned, eyes flat. I said I'm tired. Can you not interrogate me the second you walk in? Interrogate. That word clicked in my head. I filed it away. I heated the lasagna. Set the table like always, 2 plates, 2 forks, water. I wasn't trying to win points. I was trying to keep our home from feeling like an airport terminal. Dinner, I called. 5 minutes, she said. She didn't move. Phone still half buried, thumb still glued to the lock button. I watched that thumb. It spoke volumes. She finally got up, like she was doing me a huge favor, and sat down. Phone right next to her plate, face down, her palm hovering. I pull my chair back. Phone stays off the table. House rule. Her eyes narrowed. Excuse me? Phone off the table.
Why?
Because we're eating together. That's supposed to mean something. She let out a short, humorless laugh. You're not my dad. Good, I shot back, because if I were, you wouldn't talk to me like that. There it is, she said, voice louder. Control. You always do this. You can't stand not knowing everything. I didn't argue. I just reached over, picked up her phone with 2 fingers like it was a dirty dish, and set it on the sideboard. Not a toss, not a slam, just a move. She grabbed her fork like she was about to stab the plate. Are you serious right now? Dead serious. You're being controlling. I took a slow breath. If you think basic respect is control, you've been living easy. Her chair scraped back. Unbelievable. I stood, lifted my plate, and walked to the front door. What are you doing? She called out. I opened the door, stepped onto the porch, and sat on the top step with my food. Cool night air, quiet, honest eating, I called back. Eating without a third person at the table. She came to the doorway, arms crossed. So, you're going to sulk out there like a child? I took a bite, chewed, swallowed. I'm not sulking. I'm adjusting. Adjusting to what? To the new version of this house, where I don't compete with a screen for basic courtesy. Her lips pressed into a tight line. You're making this weird. No, I said, calm as a man reading a weather report. You made it weird. I'm just naming it. She stared at me, wanting a fight, but I didn't give her one. She turned, walked inside. The door closed. Not slammed, just closed. Like a decision being made. That night, she came home late. I heard the car, the quiet footsteps. Didn't get up. Didn't play home monitor. Just stayed in bed, light off, listening. She slipped under the covers. After a full minute, I whispered, You okay? Silence. Hannah.
A sigh.
The kind people use when they want you to feel like a burden. I need time to be alone. Please don't start. Start what? Talking? Questions? Just don't. I stared into the dark. We're married. We're not supposed to be strangers who share a mortgage. I need time, she repeated, sharper now. That was it. That was the moment I knew the line had been crossed. Not because she needed space, people get tired, overwhelmed, but because she wanted space with the comfort of my paycheck still running in the background. She wanted me as a resource, not a person. I didn't argue. I just made a mental note and went quiet. The next morning, I left for work early. As I backed out, I saw her through the kitchen window. Phone in hand, coffee untouched. Her face glowing from that screen like it was the only light she needed. At the job site, my buddy Danny took one look at me and smirked. Danny's been in the trade forever, 2 divorces under his belt. He can smell trouble like a frayed cable. You've got that sleeping next to a wall face, he said. I'm good, I told him. He snorted. That's what men say right before they stop being good. He put down a hydraulic pump. Let me guess. She's on her phone all the time. Gets defensive. Looks at you like you're interrupting her real life. I didn't answer. It was answer enough. Danny nodded like a doctor confirming a diagnosis. Yeah, I've seen that movie twice. Didn't like the ending either time. I'm handling it. Yeah. He tapped his wrench against his palm. Handle with tools, not feelings. Don't get emotional. Don't beg. Don't bargain. Just document, prepare, and execute. Women like that, they count on you being too attached to think straight. Don't give her that advantage. That line stuck with me all day. He wasn't some philosopher, but he was right. He'd learned through pain what I was just starting to figure out through observation. That night, I tried again. One clean attempt. Grilled chicken rice salad. Hannah walked in, saw the plates, and her eyes flicked to the side like she was checking for cameras. Phone went face down on the counter. Dinner, I said. She hesitated. I already ate. You didn't. The fridge is full of my leftovers from yesterday. Her mouth opened to argue, then closed.
She sat down, calculating.
I sat across from her. Tell me what's going on. Nothing, she said too fast. Okay. Then tell me why nothing has you hiding your phone like it's classified. Her eyes flashed. I'm not hiding it. You buried it in a pillow last night. That's dramatic. It's accurate. She leaned back. You're exhausted and you're taking it out on me. I nodded. Try again. Her jaw tightened. I don't owe you a play-by-play of my thoughts. I'm not asking for a play-by-play. I'm asking for basic partnership. You've been acting like I'm an inconvenience. You're making it about you. It is about me. It's my marriage, too. She picked up her phone. The screen lit for half a second, and she angled it away from me. Instinct. Then she caught herself and locked it. Thumb on the button again. The reflex. I set my fork down. New rule. No phone at the table. And another rule. If you tell me don't start again, I'm going to start changing how this house works. Her eyes narrowed. You threatening me? I'm informing you. Threats are emotional. This is logistics. She laughed. That same dry exhale. Oh my God. You think you're some tough guy now because you ate on the porch? I think I'm a man who's done begging for normal conversation. She stood up, plate barely touched. I'm going to bed. Fine, I said. But hear me. You don't get to shut me out and still keep the benefits like nothing changed. She froze. Benefits. Mortgage, car, bills, my attention, my time. Those are benefits, and they're not automatic if you're treating me like a roommate. She turned and went upstairs. That weekend, I made my first real move.
Not a speech.
A move. I bought 2 plane tickets to Rome. A week. Non-refundable. A reset button with an expiration date. Part of me still wanted the version of us that didn't feel like a business arrangement. I came home Monday, put the printed itinerary on the kitchen counter, and waited. Hannah walked in, glanced at it like it was a parking ticket. What's that?
Rome.
A week. Just us. She stared, blinking once.
Rome. Yeah.
You want space? Fine. Let's take it somewhere that isn't this house. No phones, no half conversations. We go. We reset. Her face didn't soften. It tightened, like I'd cornered her with kindness. I don't want to go with you, she said flat. I held her gaze. Say that again. She exhaled sharply. I don't want to go with you. The room fell silent. Then she added, like she was ordering a substitute at a sandwich shop. Can I take Brooke? I didn't move for a second. Not because I was shocked, but because I was measuring her. Measuring how far she'd go. Brooke? I repeated. Yeah, she said quickly. She's been wanting to travel. And honestly, I need a break. A break from what? From your husband. Her eyes rolled. From everything. From pressure. Interesting, I replied, because when people need a break, they don't usually ask their spouse to pay for a replacement. She threw her hands up. You're twisting it. No, I said. I reached for the papers, slid the second ticket out, folded it once.
Clean.
I'm not financing a trip with a substitute. Not happening. Her face changed. It's non-refundable, Jake. Then it'll sit like a reminder. She scoffed. You're being petty. I'm being awake. She stepped closer, voice sharp. So what? Now you're punishing me? I nodded toward the hallway. Guest room starting tonight. Her mouth opened. You can't be serious. I can, I said. And I am. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't crowd her. Separate accounts. I'm opening a new one tomorrow. Bills will be split. The car schedule goes on the fridge, and my work hours are changing. I'll be leaving earlier. She shook her head, disgusted. You're insane. I shrugged. Maybe. Or maybe I'm done funding a life where I'm treated like background noise. Her phone buzzed. Her eyes dropped to it instantly. I watched that reflex. You can take your space, but you don't take my resources while you do. She glared. Fine. I'll go alone. Do what you want. Just understand the new access rule. We can be polite. We're not doing married while you act single. She took the stairs 2 at a time. The guest room door closed hard. That night, she tried the first soft play. I came home the next evening and found a mug of tea on the counter. Honey, the kind she knows I like when I'm getting over a cold. She was sitting at the table, hands folded, voice gentle, like she'd borrowed it from someone else. Hey, can we talk? I set my lunch cooler down, looked at the tea. What's this? A peace offering. She gave me a small smile. I've been burned out, confused. I'm not trying to hurt you. I pulled out a chair and sat, but I didn't touch the mug. You're tired and confused, but you were clear enough to ask if you could take Brooke to Rome on my dime. Her cheeks flushed. That came out wrong. It came out honest. She leaned forward, eyes glossy. I don't want us to blow up over this. I nodded. Then stop lighting matches. I'm not, she insisted. I just need room to breathe. Room?
Yes.
A blank check?
No.
She reached across the table like she wanted to touch my hand. I slid my hand back, rested it on my thigh. She blinked. Recalculate. So, what now? Now we keep it civil. My rules stay. Guest room, separate money, phone stays off the table when we do talk. And after your trip, we'll have a real conversation. Her brows lifted. After my trip?
Yep.
You wanted space.
Take it.
We'll talk when you're done playing invisible. She swallowed. Jake, come on. I leaned back. Polite. Not close. That's the setting you picked. Her face hardened for a second, then softened again. Okay, she said quietly. Okay, I'll respect it. It sounded nice. It also sounded rehearsed. 2 days later, she left for the airport with one suitcase and the energy of a woman walking into a role she'd practiced. No kiss, no real goodbye. Just a quick, awkward hug, like we were co-workers at a retirement party. Text me if you need anything, she said, already drifting toward the door. I just nodded. Safe flight. I watched her go, and without that tight feeling men get when they're afraid to lose someone. I wasn't afraid anymore. I was taking inventory. The second her taillights disappeared, I moved. Not out of rage. Out of clarity. I changed the garage code, reset the Wi-Fi password, updated my email and bank login. Put a sticky note on the fridge. If you need access to anything, message me. Then I sat down with a legal pad and started documenting every weird charge on the credit card from the past 6 months. Every time she said she was somewhere but the math didn't add up. Every late night with an excuse that felt rehearsed. Yoga class on Tuesdays? Studio closed at 7. She got home at 9:30. Dinner with coworkers? Her office worked remote all week. The lies weren't sophisticated. They just relied on me not paying attention. I pulled up our shared calendar, compared it against her stories. I opened a folder and started building a timeline. Ticket purchase. Her refusal. Her request to take Brooke instead. The date she left. Bank transfers that didn't match any bills. The weird charges I'd been ignoring because marriage means giving people the benefit of the doubt. Except trust isn't a blank check. It's a credit line. And she'd maxed hers out. I called Danny and asked if he knew a good notary who worked late. Danny didn't ask questions. He just said, yeah, handle with tools. I'll text you the address. The next 2 days, I worked like a machine. Early mornings at job sites, evenings organizing paperwork. Copies of everything, mortgage, car titles, marriage certificate, bank statements.
I wanted facts.
Documentation. A foundation that couldn't be argued with. On the 3rd day, I went to the grocery store. I was comparing avocados when I heard my name. Jake. I turned and saw Brooke. Hannah's friend. Direct, athletic, no nonsense. Eyes that didn't dance around topics. She was holding a basket with tomatoes and coffee. Hey, I said neutral. Didn't expect to see you. She smiled. Then her smile faltered. Wait, aren't you supposed to be in Rome? I looked at her. The store noise faded. I could ask you the same thing. Her eyebrows shot up. What? I held my basket steady. Hannah said she wanted to take you instead of me. Brooke's face drained. She said what? She asked me if you could go instead of me. Then she went alone. Brooke stared, mouth slightly open. She told me she was doing a solo reset. She didn't say anything about tickets or you or me. I nodded. That checks out. Brooke's grip tightened on her basket. No, it doesn't. That's not okay. I kept my voice low. What did she tell you exactly? Brooke looked around like she suddenly remembered we were in public. She stepped closer. She asked me some weird questions the past few weeks. Like, if someone asked where we were, what would you say? I thought she was talking about work drama. I told her to stop being dramatic. I raised an eyebrow. Did she ever mention Rome? No, Brooke said, sharper now. Jake, what is going on? I exhaled. You want to stand here and talk, or keep shopping like nothing's happening? Brooke set her basket on the floor. Talk. Show me your messages with her. Brooke hesitated, then pulled out her phone and started scrolling. Her face got tighter with every swipe. Oh my God. She stopped, turned the screen to me. There it was. Asterisk Hannah. If he asks, say we're at a museum, like the one with the big stairs. Brooke. Why would he ask me that? Hannah, just in case. Don't make it weird. Asterisk another message. Asterisk Hannah. If you need, I can send you a selfie to post so it looks normal. Brooke, Hannah, stop. Hannah, please. I just need you to be cool. Asterisk Brooke's voice was thin. Jake, I didn't answer most of this. I thought she was spiraling. My eyes tracked down the thread. A screenshot of a boarding pass, tight crop. No passenger name, just a flight and a date. Brooke scrolled further, jaw clenched. And this. She opened an image. Hotel confirmation. 2 names listed. Neither was Jake. Neither was Brooke. My face went still. Not angry. Just final. Brooke swallowed. That's not me. No, it's not. She swiped to another photo. Hotel carpet.
2 suitcases.
2 pairs of shoes. 1 pair was men's sneakers. Not mine. Brooke's eyes flicked up to mine. Jake. I didn't raise my voice.
Didn't make a scene.
Just nodded. Send me everything. Brooke's fingers flew.
Done.
And listen, this isn't. I believe you. But I need to understand how long she's been building this. Brooke's nostrils flared. I'm not letting her use my name like that. And I'm not watching you stand there and explain it away for her. I'm not explaining anything away. Good, Brooke said. Because this is messed up. I glanced at the checkout lines. Coffee tomorrow morning. I want the full picture. Brooke nodded.
9.
The diner off the highway. The next morning, I walked into that diner. The waitress, mid-50s, sharp eyeliner, looked at Brooke and me. Well, she said, setting down menus, you two look like you're either fixing something or breaking up. Brooke didn't flinch. Both, I answered. The waitress chuckled. At least you're honest. What can I get you? Coffee. Black. Same, Brooke said. When the waitress left, Brooke leaned forward. Okay, here's what I know. I kept my hands folded. Start from the beginning. Brooke took a breath. A month ago, she started asking these casual questions. Do you ever feel trapped? If you needed a week away, how would you explain it so nobody panics? I thought she was being dramatic, like always. I watched her face. She wasn't enjoying this. She was angry. She stopped mentioning you, Brooke continued. First, it was little things. Jake's busy. Then it was like you didn't exist. If I asked how you were, she'd say he's fine and change the topic. I nodded slowly. So, she was practicing a world where I didn't matter. Brooke grimaced.
Yeah.
Asked if she ever said my name negatively. Brooke's lips pressed together. She'd say you were solid. Like you were furniture. Dependable. Not exciting. I gave a short, humorless breath. Furniture. Nice. I'm not saying it to hurt you. I'm saying it because it matters. She talked like you were a feature of her life, not a person. I nodded. That tracks. Brooke tapped her phone, frustrated. Then the alibi stuff started. She'd test me. If someone asked where I was, what would you say? I told her I'm not your spokesperson. She laughed it off, but she kept going anyway. She kept going. Brooke nodded. She kept going. The waitress came back with coffee, poured like she was fueling a fire. Brooke looked me straight in the eye. Jake, I'm not going to sit here and watch you justify someone who used my name like a mask. I'm not justifying. Good. Brooke paused, then said something that surprised me. How about dinner with me? I held her gaze. You sure you're not just trying to rewrite a bad day? Brooke didn't smile. She didn't play cute. This isn't a move. It's dinner. Two people who don't lie want to talk about the weather.
Fine.
I just won't sit there and pretend this is normal. I leaned back thinking, not about romance, about reality. Thursday, I said. One condition. Brooke raised an eyebrow. Only one. Phone doesn't get a seat at the table and honesty stays in the room. I'm not doing triangles. Brooke nodded once. Firm.
Deal.
I left the diner and went straight into action mode. Printed screenshots, pulled bank statements, highlighted dates. Made copies of everything. Took my name off auto payments, opened a separate account, moved my direct deposit. Then I packed my important stuff. Passport, work certifications, spare keys. Labeled boxes in the garage. Hannah kitchen, Hannah bath, Hannah closet. Not dramatic. Efficient. I sent her a message. Account separated as discussed. Car schedule on fridge. Contact me if you need access to anything. No emojis, no speeches. Just terms. 2 days later, my phone buzzed.
Hannah.
*K landed. Miss you. I stared at the screen. Set the phone down. Didn't answer. When she got back, she walked in like she'd practiced being warm in the mirror. Hey babe, she said, pulling her suitcase. I brought you something. She held up a small paper bag, a souvenir, probably airport bought. I stood near the kitchen doorway, calm, ready, arms at my sides, face neutral. Kitchen, I said. Her smile faltered. What kitchen? I repeated, and I closed the front door after she stepped inside. Not aggressive, just final. She rolled her suitcase into the kitchen, still trying the sweet tone. Jake, come on. Can we just talk like normal people? I missed you. The trip was good, but I kept thinking about us, about how we need to reconnect. I watched her face, studied it. The way her eyes darted, gauging my reaction. The way her voice had that slightly too bright quality people use when they're selling something they don't believe in. I placed a folder on the table.
Thick. Neat.
Organized. Color-coded tabs. Dates highlighted. Everything in chronological order. What's that? She asked, voice tightening. Facts. Facts, she repeated slowly, scanning the folder like it might bite her. Jake, what is this? What have you been doing while I was gone? Research, I said. I opened it and slid out the printed hotel confirmation. 2 names. Neither was mine. Neither was Brooke's. The other name was a guy named Kevin. Software sales. Boulder. Posted pictures of hiking and craft coffee. Real adventurous type. Her face changed fast. It's not what you think. I didn't react. Just slid out the shoe photo. 2 suitcases. 2 pairs of shoes. One is a man's. Not mine. I can explain, she said quickly. I was confused. I was under pressure. Things have been so hard lately, and I just needed to feel something different. I held up a hand. Facts beat speeches. Jake, confusion doesn't book hotels. I cut in. Pressure doesn't hide behind your friend's name. Her eyes flashed. Then she tried another angle, softer. I was going through something. I didn't want to hurt you. I looked at her. Steady. You didn't want to lose resources. That's different. Her mouth opened then closed. She looked down at the folder like it might offer her a better script. I slid over the separation forms. Sign this. Notary at 6 o'clock tonight. Her head snapped up. 6 today? Yes, today. She shook her head, panic creeping in. You're moving too fast. I leaned back. No, I'm moving on time. You've been planning. I'm responding. She reached for my hand again. Please, just give me a chance. I'll be present. I'll fix it. I'll put the phone away. I swear. Then she stood and came around the table, overly affectionate, hands on my shoulders, trying to pull me into her. I missed you, she whispered. I want us. I want you. I stood up, gently removed her hands, stepped back. She blinked, startled. What is wrong with you? People change when the price changes, I said, calm. Here's the new price. We're done. Her face twisted. So that's it? You're throwing us away? I'm not throwing anything. I'm refusing to stand in a marriage where I'm treated like furniture. She tried anger. You don't even know what happened. I gestured to the folder. I know enough. She tried tears. I didn't mean to. I cut her off again. Not cruel. Just finished. You meant to keep the lifestyle while you took your freedom. You just didn't think I'd notice. She stared at me like she wanted to argue, but the folder kept talking without words.
Here are the terms, I said.
Guest room until you move your stuff. Bill schedule stays. Money stays separate. Communication stays clean. She swallowed hard. You can't do this. I already did. That afternoon, she tried a different tactic. Attack me on my territory. I was on a job site in Highlands Ranch, modernizing an old freight elevator. My foreman, Mike, called my name. Jake. His eyes narrowed. You got company? I turned and saw Hannah standing there, in nice clothes, hair done, phone in hand like a weapon she didn't know how to use. My crew went quiet. Danny whistled softly. Hannah marched up. We need to talk.
Now.
I looked at her, then at Mike, then back to Hannah. This is work. Not for family scenes. Her voice rose. So, you're just going to ignore me? I kept my tone level. If you want to communicate, email.
She scoffed.
Email? Are you serious? Serious, I replied. You don't get to show up here and perform. Danny leaned against some rail brackets and muttered, She picked the wrong stage. Hannah shot him a glare. Stay out of it. Danny smiled. Gladly. Mike stepped forward, professional and bored. Ma'am, you can't be on site. Insurance liability. Hannah looked back at me, desperate now. Jake, please. I didn't soften. Not in public.
Not on my job.
Not here. Not like this. Her eyes went hard. You're humiliating me. I raised an eyebrow. No, you're doing that all by yourself. She stood there another second, realized nobody was coming to rescue her narrative, and walked back to her car. Danny watched her leave and nodded. Tools, not feelings. Exactly, I replied. The notary appointment happened that evening. No courtroom, no theatrics. Small office, fluorescent lights, quiet signatures. Hannah tried to stall, tried to negotiate with eye contact, tried to squeeze my hand under the table. I didn't play. After that, I moved. Not moved out like a dramatic exit. I moved like a man who doesn't sleep next to a problem anymore. I took a rental place 30 minutes away for start, then lined up something more permanent. Left a key on the counter at the old house with a note. Pickup window for your things is Saturday 10 to 12. Garage access only. Saturday morning, she showed up with her sister in a rented van. I didn't invite the sister in. Didn't need a mediator. I needed a schedule. At 11:58, Hannah was still in the garage, dragging boxes like she wanted me to come out and beg. I stood inside the doorway. 2 minutes. She glared. You're timing me? Yes, because you like gray areas. I don't. At 12 o'clock, I pressed the garage door button. It started rolling down. Her eyes widened. Jake, seriously? Window closed. The door finished shutting.
Clean. Quiet.
Final. That Thursday, I met Brooke for dinner. Not as an escape. As proof that respect still existed. We sat at a small table. No fancy lighting, no performance. Brooke set her phone face down and pushed it away without me asking. Thank you, I said. Brooke smirked. It's not hard to act like a grown-up. We talked about work, about Denver traffic, about how her job had been chaos lately. Normal stuff. Real stuff. Halfway through, she looked at me and said, You okay? I nodded. I'm clear. That's different, she said. It is, I agreed. A week later, Hannah tried one last move. She found out where Brooke lived, probably through mutual friends, and showed up there, thinking she could regain control by confronting the new variable. Brooke told me the story after. Calm, but firm, she knocked like she owned the door, Brooke said. I opened it a crack. What did she say? I asked. Brooke mimicked Hannah's tone, perfectly sweet with teeth. We need to talk about Jake. Like she was scheduling maintenance. And you? I asked. Brooke's eyes sharpened. I said, email him. Hannah tried to push. Brooke didn't move. She said, you think you won? And you said? Brooke shrugged. I said, this isn't a contest. It's a boundary. Then I closed the door. When Hannah finally cornered me after that, outside a grocery store parking lot of all places, because she loved public places when she needed an audience, she came in hot. So that's it, she snapped. You're really doing this? You're just replacing me. I looked at her, steady, hands in my jacket pockets, voice quiet enough that she had to listen. I'm not replacing anything. I'm removing what doesn't work. Her eyes narrowed. You're acting like you're perfect. I almost laughed, but didn't. I'm not perfect. I'm just not available for disrespect anymore. She swallowed, then tried to soften one last time. Jake, we had a life. I nodded. We had a setup.
Her face twisted.
You're so cold. No, I'm stable. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. You're really going to throw away years? I met her eyes and gave her the last line she earned. I don't build where the foundation's being damaged on purpose. She stared at me like she wanted to argue, but there was nowhere to go. The story she'd written needed me to play the clueless husband. I wasn't in it anymore. I got in my truck and drove away. For months later, the divorce was finalized. Colorado requires a 91-day waiting period, and Hannah tried to drag it out even longer with requests for mediation. The judge wasn't interested.
Neither was I.
We sat in that courtroom for maybe 20 minutes.
She cried.
I didn't. Signed the papers and walked out into the parking lot like a man leaving a job he should have quit years ago. She got half the equity in the house. I got the truck, my tools, and the retirement account I'd been building since I was 22. She wanted the furniture. I let her have it. Easier to start fresh, anyway. The house sold in 9 days. I walked through one last time. Found a phone charger behind the nightstand, hers. I left it on the counter and locked the door behind me. I moved to Lakewood, rented a 2-bedroom apartment with a garage bay. Set up my workbench. Bought new furniture. Picked it out myself. Nobody else's taste to consider. Took a position with a company that specialized in high-rise elevator installations. Better pay, better hours. My new boss, Carl, shook my hand on the first day and said, "Dear job. Don't cause drama, and we'll get along fine." That was the whole speech. Hannah's situation fell apart pretty quick. Kevin from Boulder dumped her about 2 months in. Apparently, spontaneous gets old when rent's due, and your girlfriend just lost half her household income. She moved back in with her parents. Her dad texted me, said he was sorry, said she'd made the biggest mistake of her life. I told him I appreciated him reaching out, but there was nothing left to discuss. She tried contacting me 3 more times after that. First, an email, long and rambling, talking about personal growth and second chances. Deleted it without responding. Second, a voicemail on my birthday, crying, apologizing, said she finally understood what she'd thrown away. I listened to it once, then blocked the number. The third time, she showed up at my apartment complex, sat in her car for an hour before security asked her to leave. Brooke saw the whole thing from the window. That's actually how I found out Brooke had been staying over more often than not by then. We'd been taking things slow, but somewhere along the way, her toothbrush ended up in my bathroom, and her coffee mug ended up in my cabinet.
And it just felt right.
Call to action. It was a rough journey, one I never expected to take. But looking back, it taught me so much about boundaries, self-respect, and what a real partnership looks like. What would you have done in my shoes? Have you ever had to choose between staying in a comfortable lie and demanding the truth? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I really want to hear your stories.